Ever felt lost and just wanted to be heard? Join the B.E.L.L.E community where your voice matters. Dive into stories that connect us all. Tap to discover. Today, I had the incredible opportunity to meet Lenka Huang, a true powerhouse in the tech world. With a career that's taken her through amazing companies like Zynga and Meta, Lenka has a brain full of knowledge. After earning an MBA at Berkeley, Lenka played a key role in guiding a unicorn startup through its IPO. Now, as the co-founder of B.E.L.L.E, Lenka is on a mission to uplift women entrepreneurs. I can't wait for you to hear how Lenka has cracked the code to tackle a huge problem in our community. Stay tuned. Stay. Now let's dive deeper into Lenka's journey and the innovative strategies she's using at B.E.L.L.E to empower women in tech. Get ready to be inspired by her unique approach and discover how she's making a real impact. Lenka Huang started B.E.L.L.E to empower women in tech by making sure every startup has at least one woman in a leadership role. To grow quickly, Lenka uses creative revenue streams like silent auctions with donated coaching from industry leaders. They focus on understanding their community's needs, building valuable programs, and expanding to major tech cities. By treating the nonprofit like a business and adapting to feedback, Lenka is paving the way for real change. Welcome to the Founders Show, where we share amazing stories from startups and visionaries. Today, we're super excited to welcome Lenka Huang, the founder of B.E.L.L.E. This is the place to connect, inspire, and grow your ideas. So let's get started. Hi, Lenka. This is Vatsa from the Founders Show. Thanks for joining this podcast, and I'm so glad to have you here with me. How are you doing today?
Hi, Vatsa.
I'm doing great, Lenka. Let's dive in. Tell me, what's the name of your startup and what big problem are you solving?
The name of my startup is called B.E.L.L.E, B.E.L.L.E, which represents boundless entrepreneurship, liberty, liaison, and empowerment. And our mission is to really ensure that every cutting-edge tech startup and unicorn company includes at least one women founder or executive.
Wow, Lenka, that's such a powerful mission. I love how the B.E.L.L stands for something so meaningful. What inspired you to focus on empowering women founders and executives in the tech space?
Well, it's that I've always been very, very passionate about. We actually had an older version of the company, which was called Grow Up Entrepreneurs. And we actually began our journey in Seattle like 7 years ago. And have been running events and building communities on the side for the first 7 years. But then starting this year and the beginning of 2024, me and my co-founder decided to rebrand Grow Up Entrepreneurs, and then we renamed our community and nonprofit organization to B.E.L.L to kind of reflect a much deeper devotion and dedication that we have to in bringing new energies and scaling this business as a really vibrating startup. And my personal drive really just comes from I've always wanted to kind of do something myself and also just give back to the community that's been so supportive of myself, of my career all this time. And in my personal life, I've also witnessed so many women either thriving in their career in entrepreneurship or facing a lot of challenges and the difficulties when it comes to really realizing their dreams and having the courage and having the resources to be successful in their entrepreneurial journey. So it is a mission that I really feel very close to. And I share that sentiment with my co-founder as well. So that's basically why we decided in the beginning of this year, we decided to just quit our full-time jobs and gone all in to help scale this organization to the next level.
That's such an inspiring journey, Lenka. I love how personal experiences and a shared vision with your co-founder have shaped the B.E.L.L.'s mission. Rebranding and going all in must have been a bold move. What was the biggest challenge you faced during this transition from Grow Up Entrepreneurs to the B.E.L.L?
Biggest challenge in transitioning. First of all, when people think about nonprofit organizations, like many of us still consider it, something that doesn't really make money or shouldn't make money, shouldn't be profitable because it's called like a nonprofit. However, for any business to scale and to be sustainable and to be able to serve its cause or its mission, like everybody needs funding. I think that's like a fundamental mindset that we have to shift for founders, for co-founders ourselves, and also for a lot of people who we work with as well. I think that's been kind of the biggest challenge, and also I think that's also one of the problems that really excite me. Like kind of one of the reasons why I decided to join as a co-founder as well, because I feel like this more, say, traditional legal entity, legal form, a traditional industry can use a lot of disrupt from the business model in the for-profit world, in the traditional, in the standard like for-profit entrepreneurial world. Because even if it's a nonprofit, we still need to have the right business model. We need to have the right revenue streams, the right monetization strategy, the right sponsorship, the right fundraising strategy to make it a profitable and a sustainable business. The challenges are the same or very, very similar, like finding the right markets, design the right products and programs, and like do marketing, do branding, and letting people realize your value and making it worthwhile their investment. So this like major mindset shift has been really challenging, but I think now we're figuring it out. So I'm staying optimistic.
That's such a fascinating perspective, Lenka. You're absolutely right. Nonprofits often face the misconception that they shouldn't be profitable, but sustainability is key to driving impact. It's inspiring how you're applying for-profit strategies to disrupt the traditional nonprofit model. What specific revenue streams or monetization strategies have you implemented to ensure the B.E.L.L sustainability?
Yeah, very, very good question. So we're trying to be really innovative in how we generate money. So one of the new things we have already implemented is actually through a mix of a silent auction / retail model. So how that model works is since we have a lot of resources and a lot of like mentors and industry leaders in our community, right? And also a lot of like business owners, a lot of founders. So what we do is we partner with them, and then a lot of times they donate their services, their products, or even their time. So for example, like a coaching time to us. And what we do after getting these donations is to present them to our members, to people who come to our events, and they can basically purchase them at a very, very low price. So it is kind of like a silent auction, but the tweak we're doing here is that we are actually making all these items available all the time. So it's almost like a discounted retail store for a lot of resources in the tech industry, in the tech world, that usually people don't really have access to, or it's just really, really expensive. To give you an example, like we have, like think like the CTO of Zoom level, like people donating us their coaching time for our community members to purchase. So that's just like an example of one of the retail items that we have, and we have so many of them, and we're generating revenues from these items. So that's like one new way, I would say. I think it's a really new creative way for us to like generating revenue, making money right now. And then we also do like receive donations from individuals, and we have corporate sponsorship. But more importantly, we run paid programs, right? So we do like women's retreat. We also have plans to run like industry-wide conferences next year. And then for this year, we hosted like a bigger scale founders and investors parties, bigger scale workshops and the panel discussions where we made profits through, say, startup booths and through ticket sales and through like VC sponsorship for specific events as well. So those are more kind of the standard ways to generate revenues for nonprofit, but then we are combining that with the creative like silent auction/retail items right now.
That's incredibly innovative, Lenka. I love how you've blended traditional revenue streams like sponsorships and ticket sales with this unique silent auction retail hybrid. Offering access to high value resources like coaching from top industry leaders at affordable prices is such a game changer. How has your community responded to this model so far? Are there any standout success stories or feedback that's really stuck with you?
Yeah, I think just like people are really loving the access to those like corporate leaders that who they usually don't really have access to, or just are really expensive, right? You know, like sometimes like you people pay so much for coaching, like you can pay like $500 or even $1,000 for like 16 minutes of someone's time. And even so, you probably really don't like have access to that because a lot of those people, they just don't offer like individual coaching anymore right now. So we've been getting a lot of feedback around that as, you know, they're saying like, oh, this is actually really, really valuable. So that's like one kind of feedback that we're getting regarding those like really like exclusive access to those leaders in the industry. And on the other side, we have partnered with a lot of like, services providers, for example, even just like Airbnbs or like private airplane tours. So all these items that people in our community might enjoy and price them at a lower value. But on the other hand, all these business owners, they're also really happy to get customers from people in our community because they can then convert them into like long-term real customers. So we've seen a mutual kind of like a win-win situation. I would say win-win-win situation, right? Because B.E.L.L.E takes the profit, but then the donors really enjoy contributing to our cause while having the potential to increase the customer base. And then our community member gets something that's really valuable at a much lower price. So that's kind of being the positive signals that I'm seeing in the market. And yeah, I think it's going pretty well so far. And we're really going to try to like scale it a lot more next year. Hopefully this can kind of become one of the dominating revenue channels for B.E.L.L.E.
That's fantastic, Lenka. It's amazing how you've created this triple win model where everyone benefits. Your community gets affordable access to exclusive resources, donors expand their customer base, and the B.E.L.L.E grows sustainably. Scaling this next year sounds exciting. What's your strategy for expanding this model and reaching even more people in 2024?
Yeah, very, very good question. So we have 3 chapters right now, right? So we have Seattle chapter, we have San Francisco, and we have Los Angeles. So we so far we've been pretty successful in replicating the city model, the city chapter model in 3 of the regions. And the next year, we want to, well, first of all, we want to establish more recurring programs such that we can actually offer a tiered membership model to gradually increase our member base. So that's one thing that we're going to do. And then, but secondly, we're going to actually expand geographically too. So the next year, we're going to focus on New York, Boston, and Chicago, which are the next 3 really, really, really hype like tech hubs in the U.S. And then we're hoping to replicate the models that's been working so far in San Francisco, in LA, and then establishing those like we call them like branches in those cities. And then I think that's like a really, really natural way for us to quickly increase our member base, to improve our presence in all over US, because that's really our goal. So our goal is not even just US. We really want to create an international company. So we want presence in all the tech hubs all over the world, and then helping us to really move the needles in the direction of achieving our mission, which is to really ensure that every cutting tech startup and unicorn has some women presence in their leadership team. So those are kind of the 2 directions that we're going to focus on next year and in the next 5 years, basically.
That's an ambitious and inspiring roadmap, Lenka. Expanding to New York, Boston, and Chicago while introducing a tiered membership model Sounds like a solid strategy to grow both your reach and impact. I love the global vision too. It's exciting to think about the B.E.L.L influencing tech hubs worldwide. What's one key challenge you anticipate with this expansion, and how are you planning to tackle it?
Yeah, one key challenge is definitely how we figure out the business model that works kind of between the B.E.L.L headquarters and the different local branches. So I think it's really important to balance like the budgeting, right? So like how much budget we should give to like each branch, and then how do we really operate on like on a, or how do we really do like a revenue operation between headquarters and the local branches, such that we can make sure that the core corporate has sustainable growth rate, but then in the meantime, we are supporting our local branches in their daily like operation and in their expansion as well. So I think that's really something that we are trying to figure out right now. So that's one thing, and then also I think leadership is really important. And I do see there's gonna be some like challenges around like picking the right leadership to run like a local nonprofit branch, because right now, like I don't think we have plans to like hire full-time branch leads for the time being. So we need to pick the right people who share the same passion for our mission, and then who also have the capability, have the drive to lead local chapters, to hire volunteers, to run all those events and the programs, to create communities with us. So I think that's gonna be another thing we're really, really going to focus on.
Those are definitely critical challenges, Lenka, but it's great that you're already thinking strategically about them. Balancing budgets between headquarters and branches while ensuring sustainable growth is no small feat. And finding passionate, capable leaders for local chapters is equally vital. How do you plan to identify and empower the right leaders to take charge of these new branches?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. So right now, we are already like always recruiting. Like we're always recruiting. We're always kind of keeping an eye on potential candidates to run our local chapters. Well, we do care about the alignment mission a lot. So I think that's like the most important thing we are looking for in a local chapter lead. So we want her to be, or he actually, we're actually a very, very like inclusive community. So whoever wants to lead this thing, we want to see a certain level of passion for helping to achieve our mission together. I think that's really important. And then also we want people who have some sort of entrepreneurial experiences, right? Either they are a founder themselves, or they are an investor, or they're like advisors, or they worked for like startups before, and then they know how that world works. I think that really would give this person a competitive advantage when it comes to like building a community and building programs, providing services to your customers. So we do want some people who have the right background and the experiences. And the way we're looking for those people, it's not like we're posting like job descriptions online or on like hiring and recruiting platforms, right? The way we're doing it is really just through like connections, through personal connections, because we do get a lot of exposure to this community, right? We know so many founders, we know so many investors, and then we're just constantly feeling, okay, we're constantly kind of trying to see who would be, first of all, interested, and then who would be a really great addition to our leadership team. So we're approaching it more, I guess, from like a really interpersonal perspective, interpersonal approach, instead of a more formal kind of hiring process.
That's a thoughtful and strategic approach, Lenka. Prioritizing mission alignment and entrepreneurial experience makes perfect sense, especially for building a strong, passionate leadership team. Leveraging personal connections within your network is also a smart way to find the right fit. It ensures you're bringing in people who truly understand and resonate with the B.E.L.Le's vision. As you expand, how do you plan to maintain a cohesive culture across all these chapters while allowing each branch to have its unique local flavor?
That's a really good question. Well, I'm a very, very strong believer in founders are the key for a really good and a cohesive culture across the organization. I think founders decide, like, basically how you function, how you interact with other people as a founder. That is the basis of the culture of your company. So I think we as co-founders, we just really need to make sure that we are acting in a way that reflects our values, that reflects our company culture. So that means we're really inclusive. We're very transparent with our employees, and then we're also always like kind of we're also personal. Well, personal is not the right word. We're very empathetic when it comes to connecting with our team on a personal level, and we're very, very supportive. But we're also very goal oriented. As you know, growing a nonprofit is not an easy thing, and we really need to be very, very goal oriented and self disciplined to make sure that we do achieve our goals. So that being said, giving local branches the flexibility and the freedom to kind of create their own culture for create the right culture, I would say, for their distinct cities is also very important. I think this becomes related to the last question we discussed, right? Which is finding the right leaders for each city. It's really the key, because I really believe how a leader behaves, that's what the company's culture, that's what the team's culture is going to be. So we just need to be really, really careful about the people who we put on leadership positions and make sure that their performances reflect the general values of our organization. And then while still give them, if we trust this person, then we give them the flexibility, the autonomy to create interesting and fun cultures for their own teams as well. But again, I would just say the key is really to just we as founders, we need to act in perfect alignment of the values that we consider important in our day-to-day work life. And then we also need to pick the right people to lead local teams.
That's such a thoughtful approach, Lenka. I love how you emphasize leading by example as founders to set the tone for the entire organization. Balancing a strong core culture with the flexibility for local branches to adapt to their unique environments is a smart way to foster both cohesion and creativity. As you look ahead, what's one big milestone you hope the B.E.L.L. will achieve in the next year that would make you feel like you're truly moving the needle on your mission?
I think we want to double the people in our community. So that's that's definitely a KPI, like one of the most important KPI for our nonprofit organization. So we have connected more than 18K members so far, and we definitely want to double it next year. So that's a big milestone we're trying to achieve right now.
Doubling your community to over 36,000 members is an incredible goal, Lenka. With the momentum you've built and the innovative strategies you're implementing, it sounds absolutely achievable. What's your game plan to hit that milestone? Are there specific outreach or engagement strategies you're excited to roll out?
I think, So basically a lot of things that I just mentioned, right? So we're gonna really start scale programs that we've been providing, which means that we're gonna do just bigger scale partnership events, bigger scale programs, because we've been running sort of like a pilot programs here and there. But then next year we're gonna just roll out the full-size programs, full-size events, full-size industry-wide conferences. I think those are going to help so much in increasing our community members. And then on the other hand, as I mentioned, I think geographic expansion is going to help so much. So that's the second thing. And the third thing is really by providing tiered membership benefits. because that really can give people a sense of, okay, like which tier do I want to be, and then they can find like the specific service or circle that they belong to, which makes it really easier for them to join us. So I think by combining those three, these are basically our game plans to try to achieve our milestone of increasing or doubling our membership base next year.
That's a solid and exciting game plan, Lenka. Scaling your programs, expanding geographically, and introducing tiered memberships all sound like powerful strategies to grow your community. It's clear you're setting the B.E.L.L.E up for incredible impact in 2024. Before we wrap up, what's one piece of advice you'd give to other founders who are looking to scale their mission-driven organizations?
Mission-driven organizations, I guess I will just give one advice to maybe founders who are on a similar boat as we are, who are trying to scale a nonprofit organization. One biggest advice is just you need to operate it as if it was a for-profit business, which means you really need to identify who your customers are, right? Like you need to do the same kind of product management work. You need to figure out who your customers are and what their biggest pain points are, and then start designing your solutions. So you cannot, because I think a lot of nonprofit organizers or founders kind of automatically, because sometimes they take over this organization from someone else, right? And then they feel like they can just follow kind of the old way of operation as long as they can kind of survive. But I just don't think that's the right mindset. So we need to run it as if it was a for-profit model, and really think about it like a product manager, really, like a CPO. Like, okay, figure out exactly what's your niche, exactly what's your market, and then build. I like to say like build a product, because the product can be programs, right? The product can be communities, the product can be services, and you need to build the right product for them, and that's how your business can grow and be sustainable. So I think that's really that big mindset shift. Think of everything from like a strategic and a business perspective for nonprofit organizations. It would be like the biggest advice I would give for founders of nonprofits.
That's such valuable advice, Lenka. Treating a nonprofit like a for-profit business, focusing on customer needs and building the right product is a game-changing mindset for mission-driven founders. It's clear you've applied this approach brilliantly with the B.E.L.L.E. Thank you so much for sharing your journey, insights, and passion today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. Wishing you and the B.E.L.L.E. incredible success in 2024 and beyond.
Thank you so much. And this has been fun. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
You're very welcome, Lenka. It's been a pleasure. Take care and all the best with the B.E.L.L.E. Thanks for tuning in to the Founder Show. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an update. And hey, if you're a startup founder and want to share your story with us, head over to founder.show to sign up. We'd love to have you on the podcast. Until next time, keep dreaming big.